Greetings and welcome to you, viewers, followers, and lovers of the beautiful game. Welcome to another episode of Real Football Vibes, keeping it real on the beautiful game. And we're coming to you tonight as opposed to our regular noon on Fridays due to technical difficulties that were beyond our control and seem to have been stretched even into this night where we did not get our prompt start. Still working out the kinks in bringing to you real football vibes, the program platform that includes everyone airing their views and giving their perspectives as we look to develop the beautiful game here in Guyana. But of course, we bring you news of what's happening in the region and around the world. And this evening, our special program will be looking at the Golden Jaguars as they prepare for next weekend's clash against Guatemala. One of two games, if they can be successful in both, will see them into the Gold Cup finals groupings. And without further ado, I would like for us to go all the way to Florida, where we'll link up tonight with veteran journalist Kaichor News, former president of the Guyana Football Federation, and one who has been um, moving around, traveling with the Golden Jaguars as they continue to carry the golden arrowhead flag in the world of football. And all the way from Florida, let me say a special welcome and good night to veteran journalist Frankie Wilson.
Good evening to you, Alan. Thanks for having me. Good evening to all your viewers. It's a pleasure being
Yes,
here.
I'm impressed with your hairstyle, if nothing else. I must add.
Rolling back the years, man.
Okay, okay, I
Yes.
understand. But Frankie, you're there on a mission. You've been covering the Golden Jaguars for some time now. Um, the team has gone sometime before the game to really get into some adequate practice before the game time. Is the team entirely assembled, including all the players from Europe as the local players as well at this moment?
Yes. As a matter of fact, just a few minutes ago, Terence Van Kooten arrived. So he would have been player number 22 with, I think, one more play to come in. And as you know, the travel in and out to Europe is kind of challenging at this time, COVID-19. But I think by tomorrow or the day after, all the players would be here, um, and we'll be able to get the practice in, the sessions in, to ensure that we have the best possible chance to take care of business come the 3rd of July against Guatemala.
There were some reports being aired around that the chances are the team might be having two practice matches against. Could you say that that is in place, that's in the making, and what the opposition will
Yes,
be like to be playing against?
Yes, I think the Ghana Football Federation, they're pulling out all the stops to ensure, even in these challenging times, that the team gets some amount of competitive practice ahead of the Guatemala game. I think one of the matches is going to be tomorrow. It's closed door, of course, and then on the 28th, there is another match going to be played. So, they're working very hard behind the scenes, along with the management team here. Ron Adams is, a veteran manager, along with the head coach and technical staff to ensure that, the team gets some competitive match practice before Guatemala.
I heard you mention the game being played on a closed door. Are the doors closed to us, the audience, as to who they will be playing against? The
Well,
opposition?
even though I'm here, I have not been able to ascertain to date
Okay.
the opponents, but I'm sure in due course they would let the public know what's going on in terms of the opposition that they're going to be playing.
What's the spirit like, the morale like in the camp, Frankie? Is it one of head down? Is it one of great optimism? Or is it one of just
Well,
going through the motions?
No, I think it's beyond that. The meeting up with the players from the time that they would have arrived on Wednesday, arrived the local contingent, and less than half an hour after most of the overseas-based players. The atmosphere is light. You know, the players are very keyed in to the task ahead. They're well aware of the, well, I won't say the challenge or challenges, but they're well aware of where the program's at in terms of a lot of young players now, being given the opportunity in this rebuilding phase of Guyana's football. They're also aware of the what the fans are looking forward to from them. I think they're keyed in, as I said before, to the task at hand. They're trying. Yesterday's session was good, but of course, jet lag, going on the pitch less than 24 hours after arriving. But I think the session today was really more intensive, and you could see that all the players are working in the various departments: defense, the goalkeepers doing their thing, the midfield players, the strikers, and they're trying to ensure that they put on a good show for themselves and for the nation as well as the fans. As you know, this is a platform for them to sell themselves as well, and in doing that, they have to put the effort in at the team session today in terms of board work. Veteran defender, one of the Twin Towers, as you would know him, Charles Lily Pollard, really spoke deep in terms of giving the effort in the practice sessions, because if you don't train hard, you can't play hard. So from his perspective as an experienced defender and now into the technical aspect of the game, he really zoomed in and shared with them some experiences and what they should be doing, to put in the extra effort to ensure that Guyana come out successful on the third.
Real football vibes, keeping it real on a beautiful game. And tonight we're joined by Frankie Wilson, veteran journalist of Skycho News, former president of the Guyana Football Federation. Of course, you, the viewers, we welcome your views, your perspectives, and your questions as we look towards Guyana's game against the Guatemalan team next Saturday night in Fort Lauderdale. And Frankie, no doubt the performance of the Guyana team in the just concluded Elimination World Cup qualifications left the fans a bitter taste in the mouth, and some were there were divided opinion in some quarters, but generally it was felt that the performance was dismal. How does the team rebound from that against a Guatemalan team that played in that set qualification, did not qualify like Guyana, but they scored some 14 goals, did not concede a goal, but yet they're out. And of course, they have been having lots of international exposure and practice matches. How do you rate the team going into this after that performance? How do they rebound with such a task at hand?
Well, I think kudos to Guatemala for what they would have done in the World Cup Qatar 2022 qualifying campaign. Yes, Guyana, while challenges again, we were not able to put in the kind of effort that we would have expected, especially the Ghana Football Federation making a huge investment for the team, for the players. Um, I think that come the third, we're going to see a much more competitive Golden Jaguar team. The youngsters are hungry. They're what they want to prove that they belong to this setup. And let's not forget that we're in a rebuilding phase, something that would not have been done in the past, where there would have been a deliberate effort to revive the team in terms of bringing in youngsters to continue, because the average age, I think, of this team at the moment is about 23, 22, 23. And once you invest in these youngsters at this stage in the coming years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, with consistent playing at home in terms of the league, with deliberate friendly matches from time to time, I think we're going to go a long way. Many other countries in the world would have gone through the rebuilding phase. And while I respect and appreciate the views of the fans in terms of wanting to see victories all the time, there would come a time when we have to regroup and to rebuild and move on. Yes, we conceded lots of goals pretty early in the matches that we would have played in March in the Dominican Republic and as well in June in St. Kitts and Nevis. I think is something that the technical team is well aware of, the players are well aware of as well. And I think they on their own would want to prove that they are a better unit collectively and individually and would want to, prove to the fans and to the nation that they can do better. And I'm confident that they will do better, for themselves and for Guyana and for us all, because we want to see them do well day in, day out. But there is a time when you have to rebuild and move on. So I think a little patience is what is necessary now. And let's not also forget the pandemic, where efforts were made to have friendly matches for the team, but to no avail because of COVID-19. I think we're kind of lucky to have the team coming out a couple of days ahead of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, like would have happened in January and in March, well, not January, in June and in March. And the difference here is that we would be getting two competitive matches so that the team can be able to work the plans that they have and the tactics that they want to see implemented against Guatemala.
You have mentioned the fact that the fans and the fraternity should be a little patient and bear with the results because the team is in a rebuilding process. Why dismantle that which was already built and continuous building one? And do you think it was good or bad timing that they choose to experiment with a rebuilding process at these World Cup qualifications and now this Gold Cup?
Well, I think that's a question more suited for the the technical team and for the Ghana Football Federation
I
to,
understand
to,
that,
to
yeah, they
answer
should be the
directly.
ones asking, by just asking your perspective, if you think,
Well,
with your knowledge of
as a
football and being around, if you had that authority to say, would you have made that decision?
I think I might have gone the same route. As president acting, in my time, while we didn't have the challenge of COVID-19, but
Right.
we tried and we brought in a lot of youngsters. I recall that we at one time we had two teams on the road. A team that was, I think they were in Colombia on the high altitude camp ahead of the Mexico game, and then we had a team that went to Suriname and won a tournament there made up of pure youngsters. Um,
Right.
I mean, it's neither here nor there, but you have to jump and make the effort at some point in time. While it might seem a bit rough at this stage, I think, when would you be able to do it? Again, I would say be a little patient. I know the fans always want to win.
Right.
Be
Always
patient,
like
and I'm sure that going forward, while a number of the other Caribbean nations are now rebuilding, St. Kitts, I think they're doing that, but a number of the others are now rebuilding. And you watch Guyana in the next 2 3 years with the kind of programs that the GFF has implemented. And once we have a break with this COVID-19, I'm sure that we will see some, good youngsters coming to the fore. You look at Omari, chatting with him, seeing him in his second game against the Bahamas in March, coming on as a substitute. Within 5 minutes, a free kick was given. This youngster ran and pick up the ball. The seniors them couldn't go wrong the ball. Allah, hug it on his arm
yeah, I recall
and
that
took
too.
that kick. You got Stephen Juke McKenna. You got a number of other youngsters on this team. You know, 2019. Our own Marcus Wilson, um, Nikolai Andrews, and these youngsters. That I'm sure once we back them. Pardon me?
Talking of youngsters, there
Yeah.
have been some additions to this team and on their debut. Could you elaborate, share some information on some of the new players who are part of the team now? who they represent, what they're coming, what they actually could bring to the table?
I if we look back, from the World Cup campaign, we had the likes of Javier George, who would have been in Guyana for a couple of months, from Bobis, went to Canada, playing in France now. And he's just 19 going on 20. And I think he brings energy to the midfield. He might not have the experience, but, with the exposure that these youngsters are having, at such a early stage in their careers, I think it can only spell well for us. Coming into the mix, Curtis Kelman in the midfield there again, Stephen Duke McKenna playing at Queen's Park Rangers, exciting, fearless youngster. Marcus Wilson in the defense. We look at Terence Van Kooten, Andrews, um, the Kevin Lane, no stranger to us, but still a youngster, just getting a contract there at Mount Pleasant Academy in Jamaica. We look at Job Caesar, homegrown and bred, fearless, improving with every minute that he's given on the field of play. Veteran Daniel Wilson, of course. Um, you look at Keanu Marsh Brown at 23, going on 24, still young. Omari at 17. Kelsey Benjamin, Treon Bob, and all these guys. I think while you might have heavier mix of youngsters, we still have a few old heads like Welchman, um, Akel Clark, Kai McKenzie. Lyle is just in his early 20s. Sean Adonis, just around 20, just under 20, from the Ghana Police Force. So I think we are on the right path, echoing the words of the head coach. And with a break in COVID, more playing time for these youngsters, we will see a very potent Golden Jaguars team in the next couple of years coming to the fore and being really competitive, all things being equal. The right investment, the GFF continuing on the same path, with the constant training. The training center, I know it's almost completed in terms of having dorms and all these things, so where you can cater better for having the teams on weekends in, weekends out. So I think good days are ahead for football in Guyana. It's been a long while, in coming, but I think we're getting there. And by the grace of God, and with the right support from all and sundry, all the stakeholders, we'll be sitting here in the next couple of years, and we will review, Alan, when we had this chat and where we've gone to in terms of rising on the plateau.
You sound as confident as young Omari Glasgow.
Yes,
And I want
sir.
to go back there, right?
Yeah.
Because Omari Glasgow, as you would know, has been a household name from the
Hmm.
under 14 level right up to senior team. He is what we'll call a special talent
Special talent, definitely.
within the Rough Diamonds. He
Yes.
is one of our most potentially um, professional footballer that we could look forward to that could force his way into that. He just had a successful tryout in the US
Yes.
for college.
Yeah.
Uh, he's there again with the team, young, still developing. But there are other players who might not have that natural footballing DNA like he has, that we need to go the extra. And one of the things that I share the view of the fans as well that has been impeding those developments is structure, which has been, lamented over. And added to that, of course, COVID over the last 2 years really has
Put a
done.
dent.
But when
Hmm.
we talk of structure, I mean providing a competitive competition. That has been on a hold for a long while. So these are some of the things that, if we're talking development, certainly got to be put into place. And here's hoping that plans are intensifying whilst the COVID put things on hold, so that fans can have something to look forward to, and players can have some level of competition to measure where they're going, where they're at, and where they need to go.
Definitely, I think what you've said is correct, and I echo those sentiments as well. But I also know, I'm also aware of the strides that the Ghana Football Federation under President Ford is doing. A number of associations, well, all the regional member associations have been well supported like never before. Monthly grant of $50,000 for the offices, and those who are not using it, it's building up in the coffers. The GFF was also committed to sponsoring the leagues at the various age group levels for associations. So I think it's now the balance is now going to shift to these associations, because the GFF, let's not forget, can't be strong without the support of these associations. Yes, you're the governing body. It's just like FIFA. If the countries that are affiliated to FIFA don't do what they have to do, FIFA can't be strong. If the associations that are affiliated to the GFF don't do what they need to be doing, the GFF will not be strong. You might be able to hold for a little bit, but ultimately you're going to buckle. So I'm saying, and calling on the associations that while even the GFF is doing their homework in this pandemic and pulling out all the stops for the teams to do well, FEMA is going to be into the fray shortly. I'm saying that associations must be meeting and should be meeting at the executive level and putting systems in place so that whenever we get a break in COVID, they can hit the ground running, because it's unfair for the GFF to be doing all they're doing and the associations not supporting, and I can tell you the support that they've been getting now, we never had it before. Even when I was president of the West Dem Association, president of East Bank Association, today you get in uniforms, you get in equipment, football, goals, monies to run your leagues, So I think
Actually,
there
this
has
is
to be a collective effort by all and sundry, and this game gonna reach heights where we ourselves gonna be surprised. And there are many more Amari Glass goes around, but we have to create the atmosphere and the platform for them to come, the rough diamonds to come to the fore.
I agree with you. Lots of latent talent yet to be
Yep,
tapped into,
yep,
and I think the direction should be for obvious reasons out of the city, inner city,
yep.
where that freedom, latitude
Hmm.
to play the football more consistently, and be more
Yes.
innovative and creative.
Hmm. Yep.
Lots of talents are there, and hopefully the federation could tap in for one region one for all these years
Yeah.
that they would have provided national teams with about 6 to 8 national players from a little place. I have to say a place. It's not a village. It's not a town. It's a little area called Hosororo
Yeah.
in Region 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many national players. But yet still, they're not organizing to becoming a member association so that their talents could truly benefit from
Hmm.
what football has to offer.
Yeah.
And I would want to suggest that efforts by the GFF in tandem with the region be go about aggressively in ensuring that a regional region one football association is established. It's a detriment to the talents that have come out there, and obviously they can't benefit from what is being offered at the national level. So whilst we talk about the talents there, those are
Hmm.
some of the areas I think should be tapped in: the Rukununis, the Waramadong, which would have been right up there for five how many years?
Yeah.
They
School
always
football. Yes. Did you sell?
Bartica always have.
Hmm.
So we need to tap into those places because, like you said, monies are available now.
Yep. More
Everywhere
than
that you
ever
look,
before.
and
Yeah.
we need to utilize it wisely in getting our best team that truly represent the 10 regions, and not like it was always in a time gone by thought that Georgetown was Guyana or Georgetown and Linden with the little Borbies. That is
Hmm.
out of the window now.
Yeah. Well, I think you're on point. But I think still, the GFF needs to be helped, and the corporate Guyana needs to step in as well as the government. I know the government is really,
The
um,
nation, the
yeah,
nation must be
yeah,
involved. If
yes,
we're
correct.
thinking World Cup or we're
Hmm.
thinking big times,
Yeah,
it must include
yeah,
the
and,
nation.
and and that's something we have
Experienced
to
Trinidad,
focus more on.
I experienced Jamaica with their
Hmm.
qualification. and
Hmm.
everyone were involved. The man in the street selling his little sweeties, he was
Yep.
involved buying the shirt, buying the team memorabilia. Where could we get team memorabilia of Golden Jaguars? Even
Hmm.
out in foreign when they go to play, the overseas, the people in the diaspora want something, a shirt, a hat, something. We have to be aggressive with the merchandising aspect of it. If we
Yeah.
take a leaf out of the NBA, they have flourished through
Yeah.
merchandising.
Yeah.
I think perhaps we need some more aggressive marketing to get the nation involved because, like you said, the
Mhm.
government must be involved, corporate Guyana must be involved. Everybody must feel part of this thing. This is
Yeah.
our team. This is our national team.
Yes, sir. And you spoke about marketing, and that's a very critical part of the whole. And I am aware that efforts are in the making with COVID again to really get the team T-shirts out for fans to be, feel a part of and to own that
Exactly.
jersey that they could wear with pride. Um,
Right.
but I'm sure that, again, we blaming everything on COVID, but efforts are in the pipeline and they're close to getting the design and all that sorted out for fans. So in the near future, I'm sure before the end of the year, that's going to be started. And I'm not in no way, shape, or form, talking on behalf of the GFF, but list snippets of information as a whole former acting president, you know,
As a key
and
stakeholder in
wanting,
football, because you're providing what's going on with the team for the nation. You're the only journalist there.
yes,
So
yes,
you're key.
yes,
But Frankie, I want
yeah.
to take you
So
a little way from the
go ahead.
Golden Jaguars. And I want to draw your attention to something that has really gripped not particularly the football fraternity for some strange reason, because it has been widespread on social media. Last Sunday being Father's Day, and I, along with the masters who continue to be involved with the sport competitively, including the president, Mr. Wayne Ford, he's longing for a tournament so he can win an MVP. Well, we decided as masters we're going to reach out to some of the past players who
Yes.
are in their twilight years and we don't know what is going on with their lives. And we attempted to reach out to four, and we got some shocking discovery, at least with one. And that really took the social media by storm. And there has been an outpouring of support for past national goalkeeper,
Border
national
Marshall.
awardee, Burdett
Mm,
Marshall, who,
yes.
in his time, according to Ultimate Warrior, when you had your hose up to your knee, you were considered a follower of Burdett Marshall. He actually introduced that style. And
Okay.
Burdett found himself in some real hard times, but my, he's a tower of strength, how he is taking this in stride. But I can't help but thanking those who have um, immediately shown their support. Today we had some medicals done with him, and for 8 to 1, he's in perfect shape. Give thanks.
Yeah.
He has one more test to do. That's a prostate test on Monday. And after that, we hope to have him temporarily housed while we do some repairs and rehabilitation. Mind you, the national cricket
Hmm.
captain, Leon Johnson, and a former captain,
Hmm.
Stephen Jacobs, immediately came on board and they have paid for a contractor to come and make the assessments, and they're going to contribute. And there are many offers to contribute towards this, which I think is so touching to
Excellent.
know we have
Yeah.
reached out.
God
But
is
what is so
greatest. Yes.
disheartening to know most of the
Hmm.
support are coming from people who never kick a ball, don't know anything about football. I want to single out one, Odessa Welch, Mrs. Welch, and Candy Smith. Brady's restaurant who's offering meals. You know, these people,
Yeah.
Gayadin, they've come on board immediately, willing to throw in, and it was really touching. So, um, another player who too was found out to be in want, but he seems to be in high spirit with dementia. Former national and Caribbean All-Star to Alvin Geronimo Braffett. We had
Okay.
also Roy Martin and Winston Poppy Patterson, the first dreadlock to have played for Guyana. We visited them and we were able to give them food hampers donated by the GFF. Wayne Ford was instrumental in that, the president, and
Yeah.
together with
Kudos.
donations from two past players overseas, Gordon Blacks Ashford and Rudolph Reese. We were able to give each player $15,000 each to help them,
Yeah.
and really that has taken this nation by storm. Your thoughts on the federation even getting involved or setting up some committee to look at the welfare of players after they would have done the games and find themselves in these streets?
Yes, it's. I think kudos to yourself and the others who would have, the idea would have germinated in your minds, and you went out and reached out in terms of recognizing the efforts of these guys in their heydays. I think it's commendable, and to all those who would have contributed, Stephen and Leon and all the others, God bless you guys and your families so that you'll be able to continue helping. It is something I think that has always been on the forefront over the years, even while I was there. And I'm sure that, President Ford and his executive, would more than be happy to be part of such an initiative that's going to look at looking out for persons who would have played at the national level in the past. It's something that, once you get down the road, it has to be sustained. So again, like we say, it must be a multi-stakeholder initiative and find support from all the stakeholders, because the GFF on its own, I don't think would be able to sustain that. You'll have to really categorize how, who will benefit, because if you look across the board, hundreds of players would have played at the national level. So would you be able, in pursuing such an initiative to assist all the persons who have played? So you must be able to segmentalize and put it at, once you play X amount of games, once you reach a certain age, like a pension plan, you'll be able to benefit. But it's something that, is worth the while to sit down and brainstorm about and see how best you can assist, because a number of players would have been very skillful, but after playing, they have nothing to fall back on. So the other thing there is empowering the youngsters and ensuring that they understand the importance of having an education, having a career outside of football, so that when the playing days are over, they have something else to fall back on.
Yes, important to balance the education and the
Yep.
sport, the talent. So pivotal, the life of an athlete in the twinkling of an eye, of a tackle, of an injury,
Yep.
it's all over. And
Yep.
what could you fall back on? So I agree with you with that. But like I was saying, we have reached a road whereby, for some strange reason, we seem to forget. And it's not only in football, it's not only in sports. Generally speaking, one would have to be honest to say that a lot of people have left this world prematurely because of neglect and lack of care and
Hmm.
attention in their twilight
Yep.
years. And even that, spending time. Yesterday afternoon, myself, Viber Dirty Butts, and Rep James, a former goalkeeper of Thomas, we spent over an hour with Alvin Geronimo Buffett. And while at times he couldn't recall and know who it was, he was
Yeah.
following most of the conversation. And when there was
Yeah.
things to laugh about, he would join in and make his comments. So these things
Yeah.
can add a little more years to the lives if we can find that time, because football is a family. And if we
It
don't look at
is.
it as a family and being part of it, then we won't feel what
Hmm.
our brother or sister is going through and feeling. We
Yeah.
must reach out,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
again, we
Yeah.
cannot um, give enough kudos for those who have promptly,
Would have
immediately
contributed.
gone
Yeah.
forward. I think it was outstanding
Hmm.
with that and leading the way. And yes, we're thankful for all and looking forward to making these set players a little more comfortable down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing too, the clubs must also see the importance of following up and looking out for the players who would have kept the name going over the years.
I
And
agree.
while leaving the GFF, might be the governing body, and we're looking for them to help. The Thomas Uniteds, the Santos, the Pelés, I know the Pili alumni, they would have been doing a fantastic job in helping the players, but the clubs, need to see themselves as being a part of this whole as well. And it's easier for them to keep a tab, like you would have been doing, on who would have played within the club before,
But
and
um,
try to do whatever you can do. And if you need help to take it to another level, reach out to even the associations and to the federation. So it's a holistic approach that's really gonna take care of this and have us
yeah,
show more respect to our seniors. And as the Tradewin said, where are your heroes, Caribbean? Let's break it down. Where are your heroes clubs? Where are your heroes associations?
but Frankie, you would agree with me, right? Of the old adage, a chain is as strong as its weakest link.
As the weakest link. Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, the fact that
Mhm.
we lack clubs, structured
Yeah,
clubs,
quote unquote.
that's
Yeah, it's
really where
quote
we
unquote.
at.
Yeah.
So maybe
Mhm.
that's where we need to start having well, properly structured clubs, not just properly, but functioning. They must
Functioning
be able
clubs.
to
Yeah.
say, let's see your minutes of your last six statutory meetings.
Well,
I don't work that, man. Never mind.
you're gonna look back, you ain't gonna see nothing. What? It's
You
scatteration,
might
as they
see a
say.
blank page. That's what I'm talking about. So, and it has to start there at that level.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
club structure must be club structure. And what I came and I met and still
Hmm.
continues to dominate, which is
Hmm.
micromanaging, that
Hmm.
needs to be thrown
Still
out of the
prevalent.
window.
Yes. Still
Yeah, it has
prevalent.
failed us for over 100 years. We
Yeah.
need to have proper club structure. We need Ghana's 83,000 square miles, man. We could have clubhouses with venues and things. That's how it is structured with
Mm.
communities because you can
And
be so
maybe,
behind the team. So
yeah,
there's
maybe
a
you
lot
need to see clubs margin. Maybe we need to see clubs margin as well, because there are too many clubs. Come together and strengthen. And don't worry, this 8 and 15 people on an executive, five the most,
yes,
because
yes.
it's going to
I
boil
know.
down to 2 or 3 people doing the work.
I understand because that seems to be the culture, not only here in Guyana. I've experienced it
Yeah,
around the Caribbean. I don't know if it's
yeah,
a Caribbean go, but it seems to really have been a handicap to development, in my
yep,
honest opinion. And
yep,
we
yep,
need to
yep.
move away from it. But Frankie, I know I begged and I craved half of your hour, half an hour, and I've gone way beyond it. Please don't send me any
You got
bills.
more than it.
Yes, please don't send me
Certainly
any
not.
bills. No starting. We're not financially viable to compensate you for your time and thoughts. But
That's all right. That's all right.
always
Always a humble
so
servant.
grateful
Always a humble
and
servant.
happy to know that you could
Yeah,
share with
my
us and
pleasure.
share the vision that the team is
Yes,
in high spirits and getting ready. And they're very optimistic, I would
yes,
say. You're looking forward to a
yes,
victory
and
next Friday, next
yes.
Saturday.
I think they're gonna do the best, and we all need to rally around them and send a positive vibe. Like going back to 11-11-11. When we were out in the doldrums, and Trinidad came to Guyana thinking that they already won, but we whooped them that night, and it's now history. I spoke with Treon. I said, Treon, you remember playing against El Salvador as a youngster, and you scored both goals. Go back to those days. And players themselves got to start thinking. The game starts way before game day. Way before
I
game. You
guess,
got to zoom
I
in.
guess, I guess Prion is probably thinking what he has to do to get some playing time.
Well, the thing is, you might not get playing time because of whatever, and we're not getting into that. But you're part of the team, and you give the
I
support
agree, yeah, I agree. But
physically. Give the support so that all
just
the
joke
energy
that
in one pot.
I just joked that in because you mentioned something that is very important. That exposure
Yes,
experience that he had. And that's what
yes.
you need here. But for some strange reason, we're not seeing him in the team.
Well,
Sometimes he's injured or he does not fit into the chemistry.
but again, too, we're venturing into the technical aspect. But of course, the coaches are there. They're seeing. They know what they
Yes,
want. and in
That's
terms of
a
what you want to do, and
pure
if
respect.
while a player might, yeah, while a player might have had the experience at that point in time, whatever is going through the mind in the training, they're not giving it, and you're not seeing, So it's a multiplicity of things, but I think collectively we got to give support and ensure that these guys, do the work for the nation come the third, and we'll be in good stead going forward. But it's a constant process of
Yeah,
reinvigorating, re-energizing, rebuilding.
it must be
Yes,
consistent. Well, Frankie,
yes,
enjoy the rest of the night. I don't know what's on the agenda for the rest of the night. They look like you're having plans for a good night tonight. Enjoy it, and we'll be in touch. Thank you for being
yes,
on Real Football Vibes, and our regards and respect to the entire management, coaching staff, and the team, and our
yes.
wishes for
I'll
the
express
game.
your good wishes to the team when I go and see them in a short while.
Thank you
And
very
thanks
much,
for
Frank.
having me. Good night, everyone. Let's keep supporting the Golden Jaguars. This is our team.
Great. That was Frankie Wilson, veteran journalist out there in Florida, um, with the Guyana Golden Jaguars team as they get ready for that important fixture against the Guatemalans. And should Guyana win that game on Saturday night, they will then confront the winner of the Guadeloupe, Bahamas, and more than likely, from how things are going, it should be Guadeloupe. But they first have to get past that hurdle there. Guatemalans have really been informed this coming off this last World Cup, and this young Guyana team really have a task at hand. We're going to take a look at a little video I was able to get hold of. I was hoping to get much more of the video that we had earlier this week to share with you. A moment with a past national player, outstanding player of his time in the 60s, in the 70s, early 70s. He would have represented Guyana on a Caribbean All Star team, um, played for, I think it was Santos, Maltinos as well, Sambits Parker, outstanding player in his time. When I entered Santos as a 14-year-old, he showed me a few things in defense, like, always give your opponent the outside. And I have great pleasure in sharing this little video with you, those of you who would recall Alvin Geronimo Braffit, Duck and Commander.
The man could sing the song, man.
Frankie?
Frankie, if it's not so, yeah. Alright, pull it tune there for them. Let it hear you. You just say,
I know the end is here. So I face the final.
And so I slip the final court.
Alright, let me hear it in the song. Sing it let me hear.
Now the end is near. And so I lift the final curtain. Now
Sing. Yeah, top, yeah.
oh, no, that's a nice tune, nice tune.
Yeah, something else.
Very nice tune.
Yeah.
Just lose it.
Yes, one of those touching moments I experienced this week here with Pierogi, as we would call him in his time, to Geronimo Braffit. I'm suffering with dementia, and family had to be forced to have him in the Veterans Army home. Um, Suffered a fractured hip and confined to a wheelchair now. And efforts are being made in tandem with the Football Federation to have him have some physiotherapy. His daughter, Franzia Brathwaite, must be commended for doing a more than commendable job taking care of her dad. And to you, the fans out there who have been sending your support via Facebook and inquiring about him, and of course, Burdett Marshall, the elder statesman of them all. And in fact, Burdett would have played with Pierogi, Geronimo Braffit in the 60s, in the 70s. Uh, Burdett Marshall would have started with Northern Rangers. And when he gave his story last Tuesday of how it all started, I was most impressed for a man at 81 who could have recapped how it all started, telling us at the beginning that his hobby was cricket, like all of us. That was the first sport. I mean, football was a side, but I took the football serious at the early age, nevertheless. So when he was asked to be part of football for whatever reason at the age of 16, within playing two matches for Northern Rangers, he was within the uprights for Guyana and never looked back from that day until in the 70s when he, retired from international football. But Burdett Marshall, as Bird, he was referred to, had a conversation with Alan Fenty, and he mentioned, Bird was the player he looked forward to seeing when he went to football on a Sunday afternoon because he plucked the ball out of the air precisely like a bird to deny many goal scoring opportunities. And the Burdett Marshall continued with the sport, giving back, national goalkeeping coach, and working with Santos. I had the opportunity being with him, and really he has demonstrated resolve and resilience beyond the imagination of what he would have been enduring and how things have panned out for him, um, being blind for over 20 years now and still with some glimmer of hope, as he told me 2 days ago. He said, he lifted his four fingers and he said, I just see these fingers them sometime, Rose. I telling you, I can see again. That was touching. And Burdett continues to show tremendous resilience as an individual, as a trained military man. And like I said earlier today, we took him to get some medicals, and he his health is in perfect shape. There's one more test for him to do. That's on Monday, um, and then we'll know exactly where he's at. But he's in high spirits despite what he's going through. Let me say a special good night to Dr. Budai, the dental surgeon, who has also offered to take care of his dentures. And there has been an outpouring of support. And to all those who have given morally, who have given financially, and who promise to contribute, thank you, thank you, thank you. And do continue to give because, like the good book say, do good and good shall follow you. And like I've been saying, we need to show more respect, love, care, and attention for our elders. They need it in those twilight years, as we would call it, home stretch. They need every attention. It could add a little more life to them, because don't think because they're being neglected, not cared for, or not feeling any love, they're not cognizant of that. In fact, that is what make that transition for them. They grieve, as we would say, they grieve away to death because they're conscious of that fact. They sacrifice so much. And now when it's to be reciprocated, they are neglected, sadly. So let's all learn from this. Let's all continue to be a family within football. Very passionate. We'll have our disagreements. We'll have our arguments. It will go high, real intensity. But then it comes down because what goes up must come down. And at the end of the day, when I look at football, even now, every time I watch a football game, I love to see what transpires after the match. Even after that moment of fierce battle, taunting, even physically getting into each other's face, we can still find deep down in us that joy in hugging each other, even if we are from the opposite side, complimenting, congratulating, or offering empathy towards the game. And we can always, after the game, find time to indulge in whatever social activities we choose to do in. And that's what makes this game the beautiful game. That's what makes this game the most followed game, the most played game, the most watched game, because it's a family. The fans, the players, everybody. We are a family, the passion. And we want to see this, continue, especially with our past players and even in the younger ones to come. We need to look for each other. The old adage of it takes a village to raise a family. Well, could you to raise a youth, a child? Well, could you imagine what it will take to raise a football family, maybe a nation? And that's what we need in this country. We need a unified nation, and maybe football could be used as the vehicle to bridge those gaps, because football is dominated by the roots people, the poor people, the suffering people. And whilst we might not have much involvement playing from what we might want to see the rich people or the upper class, they're involved. They are very much involved because they follow it with a passion as well. And again, the beautiful game will always continue to attract people of all ethnicity and all religion and no barriers. And it will always be the beautiful game. Again, to all those people who have contributed, Dillon Brady Restaurant, who's providing food, Odessa Welch has a beauty salon on, I think it's South Road, willingly and ready. And she has shown a spirit that I would like to be working with in doing these kinds of social things. There's Candy Smith. She is such a joy to hear on the phone in the morning and in the evenings, finding out about Bordet. And these people don't know Bordet Marshall. They've never seen him, they've never met him. But obviously, they have feelings for what he would have endured, what they saw. Dr. Burai, Leon Johnson, Stephen Jacobs, and all who I don't recall because I've encountered people from foreign who've been sending me, would like to. I don't know much about GoFund setup. So anybody out there who might know how to do it, and we need to do it, because doing over rehabilitating that home for boarded will take some, undertaking. Fortunately, persons have already indicated their willingness to be part of it, to make it a reality. Well, I would like to go on and on and on and on. I was hoping to have some interaction with you out there, suggestions of what you thought. It's not forthcoming. So I guess with us just going past now, my technical operator indicating that the time is time to wrap up. I want to thank you all for being part of tonight's episode. And hopefully, come next Friday or even before that, we might be able to giving you live updates. It's on what's going on with the Golden Jaguars there in uh, Fort Lauderdale next Saturday night, 9:30. They confront Guatemala, and after that game, should they win, they will meet the winner of Guadeloupe, Bahamas game. And after that success, then they into the Gold Cup proper group competition, which will kick off on July 10th in the United States of America. So, again, for all those who um, followed the program tonight and were tuned in, thanks for being part of Real Football Vibes. Hope you can spread the word and join us again next Friday when we'll be back with another episode of Real Football Vibes, keeping it real on the beautiful game. Your host, Ras Abdallah Tafari Wadada, wishing you a pleasant Friday night.